Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Pensacola International Superspeedway for the 4th Annual NRSL Crown Royal 300. Joining me in the booth for this event, Vince Freeze.
This is it. The pinnacle of Pensacola Superspeedway, the 300. We've had some wild heat races, some wild LCQs. We've also got people who've never been in race trim who made the top 10 in the first qualifying day. How will it all pan out, and who will shine the brightest in the Sunshine State?
Let's get to your starting lineup. On pole, Audra Baranowskis, and to her outside, Vincent David. Row 2, Charles Sanford and Winnie Calhoun. Row 3, you got William Brock and Donovan Cage. Row 4, Patrick Franklin and Brandon Yodel. In row 5, Connor Hurley and Harry Lorraine. That rounds out the top 10 drivers that qualified their way in on qualifying day and got to bypass the heat races and the last chance qualifier. Row 6 is Heat 1 winner Joshua Teppensaw and Heat 2 winner Dylan Young. Row 7, Heat 3 winner Cole Deaver and Heat 1 runner-up Gene Sanford. You'll notice that the second place position is next up on the grid, then the third, then the fourth, and so forth. In row 8, we've got defending race winner Logan York and Stephen Colon. In row 9, we've got Heather Wellington Turner and Beverly Creed. Row 10 is Keith Rich and Jonathan Wong. Row 11, James Ellison and Danielle Bouchard. In row 12, Keith Martin and Terry Lee. Row 13, Jesse Turner and Trey Smith. Row 14, Deanna Jones and Delon Ibrahimian. In row 15, Patrick Smith and Charles Sanders. Row 16 is Brett Moma and Diego Yepes. In row 17, Vince Freeze in the Golden Budweiser Chevrolet and Hunter Braxton. Row 18, Morgan Turner and Lorenz Maga driving the car that was the original sponsor for this race back in 2016. In row 19, Grace Takayama and Seth Cole. In row 20, we've got Riley Spurleytube and Tim Sanders. And in the final row, LCQ winner from LCQ number 1, Lane Sanford, and LCQ number 2 winner, Chris Wilson. Vince, who is your pick to win this 100-lap affair?
This is tough, right? We got some heavy hitters in the field, but I've got to go with somebody who had to sneak their way in. I really like that Chris Wilson car, man. I'm telling you, he had something last night. I wonder if it started last, right? Shots to him. I wonder if he has something in the tank. I like that. I guess another person to watch, of course, our pole sitter on the opposite end, Audra, right? And all those who made the top 10. They have no race trip, right? They only did Q trip. I wonder how they'll race and how they'll perform. And I'll hand it over to you with some picks as well.
Yeah, man, I don't know. Pensacola is so unpredictable, but I think if anybody's got a shot at this thing here today, it's defending race winner Logan York. He won this race a year ago, and I think with where he's starting on the racetrack, inside line, quickest way to the front, and if he can just avoid the early big one, if there is an early big one, I think Logan York can go back-to-back in this thing. So he's my pick to win today as the cars are rolling now off of pit road. Speaking of defending winners, 2016 winner TJ Hanley and 2019 winner Gary Barlow, not in this race. In fact, those cars, neither of those cars made the main event. Gary Barlow drove the number 91 Toyota back in 2019. Last year we used a different body style, so Logan is not in the car he drove. But both the 99 and the 91 did not make the race, so 90s Vince have won this race before, Last year, Logan won this race in the 012 car, so what do numbers have to do with today's event?
I think it's probably nothing, though. I mean, knowing this event, considering what we've seen in the past four races, four or five races, including the LCQs, numbers don't matter. Even experience don't matter, right? With Chris Wilson, I don't think I've heard of him across the board. But Audra, though, we have heard of Audra Baranowski, and that has been the Pied Piper all weekend. These top 10, they have no race trim, though, right? What will they see? What will we see for the first time? Strategy will come into play. We'll talk about down the road. With the 100 laps, I know last night we talked about in a little debrief after the LCQs that the fuel window can be somewhere around the 30, right? The 30 mark for 3 stops. But I'm ready. This is it. This is the 300.
That is the guesstimation. We believe these drivers can make it at least 30 laps, but it could be less, it could be a little more, depending where you are in the pack. But it's time to go racing. 100 laps, 300 miles. Pace car down off of pit road. And we are green flag racing from the state of Florida. Down the back straightaway they go, and already a 3-wide move for the race lead by Patrick Franklin in the number 70 Soon Honda.
Roger and Sanford going to be shuffled to the top. It's Patrick Franklin with help with Vincent David on the bottom. Looks like we'll lead the first lap.
And already Patches a 4-wide behind them as Franklin leads lap 1 over Charles Sanford.
Comes Vincent David to the inside. He's going to get a chop block from Franklin. A lot to help come on that inside. Strong inside line as the outside is not the place to be in the early stages.
On the inside line, we've got Patrick Franklin, Vincent David, Cole Deaver, and Logan York.
Logan York, yep.
Defending winner Logan York already making it up towards the front as we are already 4 wide, several rows deep. You see Audra Baranowski falling to the rear up on that top 4th lane.
Bad strategy, especially since we don't know where the safe place is. But right now, I think it's not a bad strategy to kind of mind your P's and Q's. Someone trying to just catch up to the pack back there. I don't know who that is back there. Kind of losing it, but just staying tucked.
That's Hunter Braxton just kind of keeping a little distance there at the back of the pack as they almost go 5 wide here through turns 1 and 2. You can just see the hornet's nest from the helicopter cameras. We got people leaning on each other already. That was Donovan Cage and Keith Rich. But madness here already at Pensacola Superspeedway is at the front. It's 2x2, and it's defending winner Logan York leading the 3rd lap of the race.
It's Brett Moma, though. Talked about Brett Moma in the LCQ, or the qualifying heats. How he could be a strong contender out front. See if he can prove us here today.
To the inside goes Brett Moma, Patrick Smith. And look at this. Last chance qualifier number 1 winner Lane Sanford already towards the front of the field. It's that inside starting position there, Vince. In just 4 laps from 41st up to 2nd place. And in shot of that race lead.
Superlative also started a row ahead, also to the front, but we also got 4 wide all over the place as Lane Sanford looks for the lead.
4 wide behind them for 3rd as Lane Sanford is going to look for the race lead after starting in 41st place, and it's only been 4 laps. To the lead he goes in that FedEx Pontiac.
talked about the draft, right? We've been talking about that all weekend. Where's the place to be? At the front of this race, I said it would be a marathon, right? It's not a sprint. Got to pace yourself. Don't want to get in the big one lap 10 or something. That's what these guys are doing. It's controlled chaos, especially at these races. And as you can see, 2x2 for the first 5 rows.
And there's LCQ number 2 winner Chris Wilson coming up towards the front now. We have yet to see anybody be able to lead this pack like Wilson did in LCQ number 2.
Looking back, they're 5 wide early. They're definitely.
They are 5 wide. Oh, I don't know if this is going to work. Deanna Jones and Lorenz Maga are coming really close to clipping. And they're going to settle it back in. Jones will jump in line, and back to 4 wide they go here on lap number 6. As, ooh, up ahead, almost had some contact between Tim Sanders and Diego Yepes. They'll settle it out. Seth Cole, Lane Sanford leading the lines at the front of the field right now.
You know, Seth Cole can get it done anywhere. He's definitely one of those guys with the experience, as we're still 4 or 5 wide almost at the back.
Ooh, and Heather Wellington Turner and Riley Spurleytube almost drifted up the track as they were rubbing doors down the straightaway.
Seth Cole, though, still leads.
Remember, Vince, this is the most amount of the most cars we've had on track all weekend. You know, heat races we had, I think, at most 31, and then in the LCQ we had one race of 32. So 42 cars on track now. It's a bit of a jump.
Yeah, and I think the thing with 42 cars is you have to settle down, right? You can't go in there thinking, well, 31 cars, 32 cars in an LCQ or 25 or something. You get into a wreck now, there will be traffic behind. It's important to keep yourself clean, as Sanford and Cole have to get shuffled as Lee and Daniel Bouchard to the lead now.
Daniel Bouchard just made it 4 wide for the race lead in turn 1, and that's going to shuffle Lane Sanford way back.
Not for long, though. Here comes some more people on that inside line, strong inside line today.
It's Lorenz Maga in the 27, Indiana Jones in the 40. We'll make it 3 wide now for the race lead, as nobody seems to be able to lead this thing for more than half a lap.
Jim Brock, though, and some more. And look at this, man. Second place is just a shuffle net. No one can even hold second. It's getting tense. They're rubbing.
Oh, they are bouncing there. 4 wide, about 7-10 rows deep.
Look at 5 almost for second. They're definitely pushing the issue today.
Grace Takayama really peeking the nose there on Donovan Cage, as Baranowskis has made it back towards the front after 9 laps of action. No more leaning there in the back. I think that was Logan York and one other. I believe that was the 14 of Harry Lorraine.
Don't look now, but here comes the Young, Dylan Young and Baranowski. Very experienced combo. As you see that wide shot, Jesse Turner back there. A lot of notables as they start coming through the field here, as they're still almost touching.
There's Brendan Yodel in the 007 car, I believe it is. He's moving up towards the front behind Baranowskis. Keith Rich, Hunter Braxton also on the inside line.
Yep, reminder, Braxton at the start was socially distanced in the back, and now he's starting to make his way to the front. Here comes Yodel underneath Young and Donovan Cage looking for that lead.
Grace Takayama leading the pack here out of turn 4. Looks like the pack is broken up. We might have had an issue. And indeed, caution flag is out for the first time today on lap number 11. It appears we had an issue going into turn 3.
Somebody in the apron there, but we're going to get our ducks in a row and get that replay in a minute. Grace Takayama out front of lap 11. We'll get you to that replay in a second.
We got to wait and see what the pit strategy is going to be, Vince. Remember, it's a 30-lap window.
Yeah, and you look at the pit strategy, right? 30 laps would be 41. just projecting here on a lap 11, then you go 71. That would be right on the money to make this a three-stop race. Of course, the cars with damage, we know they're coming in.
Oh, and Daniel Bouchard, who made that crazy four-wide move, was involved. It looks like Gene Sanford, Dylan Ibrahimian, and Terry Lee with damage as well. But all 42 cars still on the track right now under pacing. And we'll have to see what the call at the front of the field is for strategy, as Patrick Smith is looking to get in the correct place in line. No, wait, he was at 17th. I don't know what he's doing. Oh, and we've got a strategy taker, Vince.
Then we got a split though. Looks like one stayed out, but it looks like most. Oh, here's another one staying out. Most of these guys are pinning, yeah.
Dylan Young will stay on the track. So will Patrick Smith. And one more driver. Who is that? Can't get to him. There it is. Joshua Teppensaw, Heat 1 winner. So the Heat 1 winner and the Heat 2 winner both staying out on the racetrack. Plus Patrick Smith. So we'll see how this strategy pans out. But let's take a look at the first caution flag of the day. Taking a look at what brought out the first caution flag of the day. And this starts going into turn 3 with Dylan Ibrahimian, Joshua Teppensaw, and Gene Sanford. A little bit of a four-wide split here. And it's going to start with actually the 14 of Harry Lorraine getting into the 08, getting to the 100, and getting into the 38. Bouchard, Terry Lee, nowhere to go. Teppensaw bounces off of Logan York as Bouchard's car gets up on the door of Gene Sanford. And it's just an isolated incident of 4 or 5 cars here, Vince.
Yeah, nice work, though, at the top by Spurley, too. Sanford, Seth Cole, jamming on those brakes, saving those damage. Surprised about Teppensaw, though. Surprised he didn't come in. We'll talk about that in a second. So everyone's going to take a slide down and get some damage fixed in the pits.
They would end up continuing the race back there to the caution flag, so we'll see if these drivers continue or not. I feel like Bouchard took quite a lick, so I'm not sure about him, but none of these drivers really with front-end damage, so depending how much performance damage they got engine-wise, they should continue and be relatively up to speed. But let's take you to that race restart. Getting ready to go back racing here at Pensacola Superspeedway. Dylan Young, Patrick Smith, and Joshua Teppensaw all staying on the racetrack, did not pit. Everybody else came down. Everybody from the accident continuing here. So still 42 cars in this race with what will be 86 laps to go. Baranowskis first out of those that pit in 4th. Brandon Yodel 5th. Connor Hurley 6th. Grace Takayama 7th. Deanna Jones 8th. Hunter Braxton 9th. And Keith Rich the top 10. Vince, what do you think about this call to stay out and be on a different cycle than the entire pack?
I don't know. This would be interesting, right? 41 for the guys who came in at lap 11. Let's say the field window's 30, maybe 31 in the pack. Looking at 41, 42. These guys are looking at a 30, 60, 90 call. That could be interesting. And also another thing, Teppensaw had damage, so I don't even know if he's going to hold up with these leaders. But I think he'll be fine. Dylan Young, like I said, he knows what he's doing around here, though. He does live in Florida, so maybe he's got a little magic, but we'll see. The rest of the field, I feel good, though. Fresher tires, if that means anything, and if we get a long run, especially with the way these cautions have been working.
Well, Teppensaw was in the wreck in some shape and form, but it looked like he mostly just bounced between 2 cars. I don't know if he really got any damage. We'll have to see, though. Maybe you're seeing something I'm not seeing, but pace car's down. Green flag is back out, and Dylan Young with a pretty good jump here on the restart.
Comes Hunter Braxton 4 wide, trying to look for it already as they all file back into 1 and 2.
And this is where we're going to see the pack take a while to string back together, as Everybody at the back of the pack is looking to maybe set a fastest lap. So far on the day, Riley Spurleytube and Lane Sanford with 46.614s. Audra Baranowskis, her group Q time was a 46.577. So we'll see if anybody can get a time faster than that once these drivers get up to speed. As you can see, Dylan Young being the leader, not the way to go, as Patrick Smith will lead the first lap under green.
Zach, if we get a one-lap shootout at the end of the race, you don't want to be the leader in this case. But we'll see. Maybe it was the tires weren't as fresh versus the guys in the back. But Patrick Smith, though, he also stayed out and won. We have seen one-lap shootouts in the past. The pack is still getting up to speed here.
Seeing a bit of a gap between Harry Lorraine and Vince Freeze, but you can see Lorraine is going a full 3 miles an hour faster, as all of these guys back here in the draft are straight flying right now. Something happened to Seth Cole on pit road, maybe a little bouncing around. Same for Charles Sanders. And Riley Spurleytube has front end damage. But you see Terry Lee, Gene Sanford, and Danny Bouchard plus Ibrahimium very well off the pace. These two are. They could be lap car factors if we end up getting green flag runs here in this race today. Gene Sanford, Terry Lee, though, they appear to be mostly up to speed, so I'm not sure if they will become issues down the line or not.
As far as we saw all weekend was McCollum at the end of LCQ2. It's been a very clean weekend as far as the lap cars, but will that strike later? We'll find out, as everyone's still single file towards the back trying to get up to speed for the most part.
You see Devers, the lone man, out here next to this single file line, and he's just trying to side draft these guys the best he can. As at the front of the field, they are 2 wide, 3 wide, so much. As it's Vincent David and Hunter Braxton battling for the lead at the front of the field. And there it is. I anticipated this. A new fastest lap. Lane Sanford with a 46.376. And that's over a 10th and a half faster than the Q time Baranowskis set in the Q sessions.
Yeah, I think with just the up to speed, the way these guys work in the draft, we're expected to get quicker lap times. As you can see, they're looking nearly 4, maybe 5 wide back there. There's Vincent Davis, Braxton, and others behind.
Vincent David driving the car whose sponsor was the, I believe, 200 subscribers special event on this channel way back in the day, the Starbucks 200 that was held at Armory Digital Superspeedway. So Vincent David trying to get that Starbucks Ford in the victory lane for them here today in the Crown Royal 300.
I think these guys right now, Zach, I'm looking at this, we are seeing people on different strategy. They know you're going to a window, you're going to a field window, especially Dylan Young, who might come in a little bit before these guys. I think it's all about just more pacing. This is the part of the race you'll see more pacing. You won't see anything out of control, be controlled chaos, I think. But once we get past lap 30, when you get those 10 laps to go into that field window, then you'll start seeing action even more erratic. But for right now, it's just Vincent David leading. Typical recycle cycle back at the front and the back.
Vincent David will continue to lead at the line as they are 4 wide in the pack. Once again already, we got away with a small one there going into turn 3, Vince, but we have seen some huge wrecks here at Pensacola Superspeedway, and it is just a matter of time for the big one to unfold.
It's a matter of time until they catch Bouchard and Ibrahimian. I mean, these guys are going 227, 28 at one point. Bouchard, I saw, and Ibrahimian are going 203, 202. When you're 27 miles per hour faster, that's down to happen down the road. We'll have to keep an eye on that in this run as well. As Stanford, yeah, you see they're very slow. Wow.
They are already 20-plus seconds behind the leaders. As here comes Lane Sanford looking for the lead. Oh, and someone just got clipped down the track, and Dylan Young's around. That's going to be our second caution flag of the race. They got dangerously close to that pit wall. I'm curious if any of the drivers involved hit it.
Tough break for Young if he was indeed got severe damage. But for right now, it's Sanford looking to be leading us back to the line.
That's going to avoid the mayhem of Ibrahimium and Bouchard for the time being, as Lane Sanford will lead them to the caution flag. We'll see if these guys can get slowed up in a safe manner. They are all packed up. A little bit of four-wide leaning here between Steven Colon and Diego Yepes. Actually, it's a bit of a five-wide leaning. But they're going to sort it out. Patrick Smith we saw, I think, involved in this one. There's Dylan Young. Car looks relatively okay. Maybe some back-end damage from the contact. We'll get it slowed up. Oh, Brendan Yoder. Oh, Spurley Tube's coming in hot. Oh!
Ooh.
That's going to give Spurley Tube a ton more damage. That might end his day. Brendan Yodel now with back-end damage from that. His car looked relatively okay too, but now not so much. So we'll see Bouchard and Ibrahimium catch up. What is the pit strategy call now, Vince?
Like these guys are, do you lean towards it? I mean, the only difference, like I said, is if you pit now, it'll be 22-52. As, all right, we got some takers. There's one, there's two. It's Malma back there. Looks like Logan York. Split strategy. This is the ultimate split strategy. Now we got guys like Sanford, lap 42. That could be the expected pit delta for them. And these guys, 52-54. Should be interesting. I like the people who stayed out, though. I feel like track position matters, right? You don't want to be back in that hornet's nest, especially with the way the wrecks have been going towards the back. I think staying out's a better call, but we'll see. As we'll take it to some replays as well.
Yep, first let's take a look at who stayed out. Lane Sanford, Trey Smith, Lorenz Maga, Tim Sanders, Donovan Cage, Baranowskis, Vincent David, Winnie Calhoun, Heather Wellington-Turner, William Brock, Vince Fries, Keith Martin, Charles Sanford, Patrick Franklin, James Ellison, Diego Yepes, Charles Sanders, and this could be the biggest moves of all. The damaged cars of Terry Lee, Gene Sanford, and Daniel Bouchard stay out. And if you're behind Bouchard, that is bad. You do not want to be stuck behind him on this restart. But let's take a look at what brought out the second caution flag of the race. Taking a look at the second caution flag of the race. And it's going to start to Dylan Young's right side between the 007 and the 4. That's Brendan Yodel and Patrick Smith. You're going to see right about here, they're going to start coming down the track. And Dylan Young is a sitting duck. That's going to spin him around. You see Patrick Smith and Brendan Yodel just kind of skidding it. Smith gets on the control. Ooh, and Yodel will just miss hitting the inside wall with his back end. Whole pack's going to miss this. Dylan Young still spinning. Now back up onto the track. Same for Brendan Yodel. But it looks like neither of them are going to hit the outside wall. Young gets it back on their fire. So Young just goes for a big spin. Same for Patrick Smith and Brandon Yodel. But Yodel, of course, got the back end damage from Spurley Tube running him over under pacing. But let's get you to the race restart. Getting ready to go back racing here at Pensacola International Superspeedway. And Vince, we are 25% of the way done.
Yep, we are definitely starting to chug along here. The first part of the race, if you break this up into 4 quarters, like you see in most stick and ball sports, the first quarter really is about getting up to speed, learning the draft, figuring out what those 10 cars who did not even do a race in race trim, figure out what those cars were like. And from what we've seen from the commentators booth, there's no safe place here, and the lead is really shuffling. There's no dominant 2-car pack like we saw in LCQ 1 or 2. There's no consistently one guy flying to the front and going to the back. It's more a mix of drivers. And strategy, though, has been a big part in this first quarter, right? We've seen guys stay out. We've seen guys come in. We've seen now a split strategy, like I said, with the guys who pitted back, I believe, towards Daniel Bouchard's the last car. Yep, Kenny Moma being the first car just
Brett
came out.
Moma. Brett Moma.
Brett Moma, excuse me. Um, this is going to be one heck of a showdown. I mean, how do these cars get around those slow cars will be the big factor of can they get back to the pack. But right now, it's restart time. Lane Sanford has definitely been trying to take control of this race after he started shotgun row.
Yeah, Bouchard, Gene Sanford, Terry Lee, all with damage. Harry Lorraine came down pit road after getting damage on the initial pit stop and took off the hood. He is still in the race, but Riley Spurleytube is the first driver to retire. We saw him get that damage under pacing, and that's a tough way to end your race. But he already had some significant damage from a previous incident, but tough luck for Spurleytube here. But surprised that 25 laps into this race this year, we've only got one driver out of the race. Usually we've already got about 10 out of this thing.
Sanford with a rocket ship at the start. Now the question is there yeah, there's definitely some separation back there.
Lane Sanford doing what Dylan Young was unable to do on the last restart, and that is hold the race lead for a full lap. As here comes Lorenz Maga in the 27 Pizza Hut Ford Fusion.
Guy we talked about earlier, Vincent David, right? He seems to be one of those guys that can stay out front, but can he keep the lead is another question, as there is some pack separation as these guys continue to build up speed.
Remember, the top 20 stayed out. Charles Sanders was the last car up to speed. You can see Terry Lee and Gene Sanford are still kind of holding their own up here in the draft. Remember, they are only about 2 to 5 miles an hour off pace, so they're kind of just splitting this pack up into two right now, and this could be our key to going green flag racing. As you see Chris Wilson passing Gene Sanford on the outside. How much has Bouchard held these drivers up? Oh, man, a ton. You can just see the split here between Jonathan Wong and Keith Rich. That has hurt Joshua Teppensaw as it appears maybe... Oh, no, Dylan Young and Patrick Smith, they appear to be up to speed, but they have gotten caught big time by Daniel Bouchard. As it appears, Connor Hurley might have some damage from some incident on pit road. As now Harry Lorraine and Dylan Ibrahimian are back here drafting together. But Bouchard restarted 20th down to 39th. Joshua Teppensaw, Jonathan Wong got hurt from this big time too. But it looks like the pack will mostly reform there, Vince.
Yeah, just a couple laps and they'll get back. Chris Wilson seems to be, especially with, we know Chris Wilson alone, this guy's dangerous. He's got definitely one of the best cars out there to lead a pack up to the front. He's bringing his buddies. But at the front, though, looks like we have a new leader.
Patrick Franklin back to the front. Saw him up here about 25 laps ago. As he's got William Brock to his outside. As here comes the 20 of Vince Freeze. Now Diego Yepes will make it 4 wide for second place. As William Brock got enough of a run there off of turn 2 to clear the madness.
Yep, Yepes and Brock at the front right now. Ellison's going to be shuffled to the back of the pack. There's Sanford. Standing in the middle. As it looks like we have a solid 25, soon to be 30 cars, especially if everyone gets packed up closer.
William Brock will take the race lead in that number 3 Reds Chevrolet. As Tim Sanders in that EA Sports 42 closes up on his back bumper.
Great help on the inside. Yep.
A lot of different drink sponsors in this race. Vince, you've got the Speed Energy 77, the Monster Energy 35, and the Red Bull 81. And then you got cars like the Reds 3, the Budweiser 20, and the Miller Lite 21, among others.
Yep, definitely get your beverages ready at the old TV set as you watch this race. But we also got some gasoline and some nationwide insurance on the inside with Jesse Turner and Takayama. Definitely a mixture of sponsors. Yep.
Coming back up to the front in that Shell Pennzoil number 11, and then you got Jesse Turner in the patriotic colors of that nationwide 47. That'll be 4 wide for 4th place. As the other Turner, Morgan Turner, coming up on the inside line. Not sure if Morgan is a sister to Jesse or a cousin or whatever the relationship might be. But Morgan showing some speed here today, just like Jesse is, as Jesse gets put 4 wide up top third from the outside, as Tim Sanders now leads the race. And we've got about 29 cars in this main pack, Vince.
Yeah, it's about 28, 29, depending on if Lee can catch up, which I think he will. I can possibly be in a good spot for the next pit stop. Right now, I don't know. We still might get the wreck, right? We've seen it with 29 cars in an LCQ event that there can still be wrecks. So there's no such thing as no yellow here in this run we're about to see. We could still see it with the mixed strategy. We have some cars on the lap 42 to 44 range versus some cars who came in last in the lap 52 to 54 range. We'll find out what that strategy entails in about 5 or 6 laps for the guys who stayed out the first time. But right now, Tim Sanders seems to be controlling the pace, and the pipe, everyone's 4 wide behind in the back.
Yes, indeed. So right now, these drivers, I think, if they can catch lap traffic, which would be these 3, Bouchard, Ibrahimian, and Lorraine, that would split up this pack potentially enough to prevent 4 wide chaos. But on top of that, green flag pit stops would break up the field as well. We've seen that in the past in this race, where we get to green flag pit stops and the 20 car pack we've got turns into about three different packs of like 8, 6, and 7 car packs. And that's usually when we go green flag all the way to the end. But we have never had like a really long run in this race over the course of history. I believe in the first event it was about a 20 to 30 lap sprint. Actually, no, it might have been more than that, because I believe there was a pit stop involved at the end of that race. But yeah, I think things gonna get very interesting here depending how this race turns out, as Vince Freeze is leading the field once again, and Lane Sanford back at the front again, man. Vince, this 71 car is fast today.
Yeah, as you see, he goes under freezer. I really think Lane Sanford could be someone to look out for. But you also have one of the Pied Pipers of qualifying. Baranowski's still lurking back there. Still a lot to be played for. We don't know, right? Those lap cars were maybe 2, 3, 4 laps away, depending.
They are a little more than that. I think they're about 5 laps away. They're in drafts, so they're going a little faster than usual. They're only about 2 to 3 seconds off pace. Before, when they were by themselves, they were about 4 seconds off pace.
That'll be interesting. That could be right around with those guys who stayed out on lap 11, 12. They might try an undercut strategy. We'll find out, though. As Takayama looks 4 wide for third underneath Baranowskis.
Well, Dylan Young, Patrick Smith, and Joshua Teppensaw all came down pit road at lap 21 caution. It's the top 20 who stayed out that would have to come down and pit at lap 50 or so.
Right.
So we're about halfway to that mark. Lane Sanford leading there at the start-finish line. As they're going to crash! Somebody just got put up into the wall. Oh, and Seth Cole's going to get into this with Terry Lee. Jonathan Wong's got heavy damage, and Donovan Cage's car is destroyed. James Ellison involved. This saves Dylan Young and Patrick Smith, who had lost the draft. As it looks like Brett Moma has come down pit road for some reason. He's got damage on the side of his machine. But the rest of the field is racing back. That's going to put Brett Moma a lap down. Drivers will slow down here under caution. They've done a great job so far. Let's see if they can do it again. Stephen Colon, a part of another 4 wide.
Everyone's minding their P's and Q's here as Terry Lee catches up to the pack, and now the strategy game will commence. Yeah, tough break for MoMA, though. Must have had some type of damage, or they were reporting something over the radio. And also Donovan Cage, big break, a tough break and unfortunate break, because that will end his chances at 300. But great break for some guys like Young, even Bouchard. We weren't going to catch those guys now, and it resets everybody.
Donovan Cage, though, his car is destroyed. And we saw Seth Cole and Jonathan Wong get involved, and it appears those two have retired from the race as well. So a bit of a bigger crash here on lap 36. And it looks like there's a gap back here for some reason. I believe that is Deanna Jones and Keith Martin trying to figure out who was ahead. But that's going to split up the rear of the field. Brett Moma just pit, so he will stay out. He's a lap down. But it looks like everybody else is coming down here on lap 37, Vince, and that's going to eliminate the strategy game.
Right, and now at this point, the only game to be played is if Brett Moma holds anyone up on the restart. But we'll find out later after this replay.
Looking at what brought out the third caution flag of the day, it's going to start between Donovan Cage and James Ellison, who are just going to hook together right up into Charles Sanford. Nowhere for the 005 car to go. Ellison's going to turn around. Cage is trying to get off of him. Gets out of control. Seth Cole has nowhere to go. Terry Lee's going to slam the brakes. Jonathan Wong trying to get by this. Just can't quite get there. And that just starts spinning Donovan Cage like a top. Up into the outside wall goes the 84. And then we see Terry Lee turn up. Or down into Seth Cole, rather. And then they both go into the outside wall again. But this crash takes Donovan Cage straight out of this race. And Vince, I think we are finally due for an onboard, so let's get to that. On board with Donovan Cage, it looks like Coke Vanilla and Monster Energy just don't mix. I don't think Snickers or Reese's work with Monster either.
Sharpie on the outside up there.
Oh yeah, that definitely don't work. Let's take it to the race restart. Getting ready to go back racing here at Pensacola, and problems for Cole Deaver in the 26. We're hearing reports of a flat tire on the AC Delco Dodge. Coming to the restart, no less. It looks like to not be causing any significant body damage, but Deaver will have to pull down the pit road and get some new tires on this thing. So a tough break for Deaver, was up there in the top 10. So we get ready to go back racing. Hunter Braxton is your leader. Everybody came down pit road. Brett Moma pit coming to the yellow, so he is a bit off sequence, but he is tail end here of the pack. Braxton leads. Lane Sand for second. Yepes third. Then the Turners of Morgan and Jesse. Deaver will come to pit road. Patrick Franklin will inherit 6th. Winnie Calhoun 7th. Keith Rich 8th. Logan York 9th. And Chris Wilson the top 10. As you go through the pack, there's Bouchard 27th with his damage. Patrick Smith and Dylan Young got to find a way by these damage cars. We know they're up to speed. As Charles Sanford, James Ellison, Terry Lee will continue from that accident. Seth Cole, Jonathan Wong, and Donovan Cage are all done. That leaves a total of 38 cars on the track.
Ace cars off. Brett Mole will lead us to the green, but Hunter Braxton leads this race. As for green flag back here at Pensacola on lap 41.
And could Brett Moma get his lap back with a quick caution flag?
Looks like Brett is up to speed, though. He won't be a factor, let's say, like Bouchard back there in 26-7, depending on how Deaver cycles out. And Sanford, we've talked about him all race. Takes a look on the inside.
And this 71 Pontiac has been fast all day long, and he wants the lead back already, and he'll waste no time to take it from Hunter Braxton.
All was going to have to wait is Sanford to the front with help from, looks like that's Morgan Turner behind.
Yep, Morgan Turner there in the 68. Patrick Franklin up here at the front of the field, too. He has shown speed all race long. As there's our defending winner, Logan York, back up here on the inside line as Morgan Turner will make it 3 wide for the lead. Brett Moma up there, lap car, just vibing right now.
Literally vibing as the whole pack is getting up to speed here. Looks like there is no cutoff point right now. It seems like everybody's just trying to get up to speed.
You see everybody just kind of riding the bottom back there, Vince.
The way to go, right? You get more of a streamline effect. Everyone will be in line. You get a nice wake as Baranowski's though. The fastest car all weekend in terms of qualifying pace. Seems to be working away. There's the cutoff back there between Young. He tries to get back up.
No, Dylan Young up to speed. Jean Sanford is a little damaged. You can see she can kind of keep up, but right now it looks like they're going to lose. So Brandon Yodel, Connor Hurley, Charles Sanford, all with minor damage. Same with Terry Lee, James Ellison, the next batch, and then Bouchard, Lorraine, and Ibrahimian with the most. And there's Cole Deaver. Looks like 4 tires, got it done, back out on the track. But he is in danger of going a lap down if he does not get a caution.
We need that caution. And one last thing to report here, guys. Lap 37, 36, that will put the fuel window into the 60s if we don't see another yellow. But the way these guys are racing and gals, it will definitely happen. Because right now the longest run's been, what, maybe 10 laps, 11? We'll definitely see one. Unless these guys figure it out and say, hey, it's that point of the race where the second quarter is about to end. Let's ride. But for now, back to yellow with the next 10, 15.
And so far, all of these runs have been relatively equal, except for the middle run. First caution on lap 10, restarted lap 15. Then a short run, because the second yellow came out on lap 21, restarted lap 26. And our most recent yellow came out lap 36, restarted lap 41. So 10 laps, 6 laps, and then 10 laps again. So yeah, Vince, if this keeps up, we should see another caution around lap 51 or so.
Should be. I don't know. But right now, I think it's really about William Ride, as you see William Brock, another guy we've seen at the front all day, looking to take the lead from Sanders. Sanders has been at the front, too. A lot of Sanders and Sanfords. A little tongue twister have been at the front, it seems. But, yeah, it looks like everyone's playing their controlled chaos card right now. Nothing too out of hand.
And you got to wonder if this does somehow go green, what's going to be the call, because 30 laps from 37 only gets you the 67, and then you're about 3 laps short to make it to the finish.
I think you said earlier in the race we could see those 3-4 packs of 7-8 cars. And this will be a big call for the crew chiefs if we don't get that yellow. But right now, we're starting to see more controlled 4-wide chaos. I think it's getting close to that lap 51 mark, as Sanders has a little bit of a gap, but Sanford's coming. He's definitely been one of the strongest as we go on board here in the rear chase.
This is our first on board all race long, as you see Heather Wellington Turner closing up on the back bumper of Tim Sanders, but holding in line. So Sanders perhaps here with a car that can get it done. Right on board the 42. New fastest lap of the race goes to Keith Rich, a 46.302. So even faster lap times coming out here on the racetrack. As we got a bit of a breakaway here, Vince.
You know what that tells me? I think that if we get a Sanford and Sanders combo at the front, there's something special between those two. Watch out at the end of this race. We got like a 1 or 2 lap dash, but don't count that pack out yet. There's too many strong cars. They'll reform in a minute. This is maybe that point of the race where it's controlled chaos, mind your P's and Q's.
Beverly Creed at the front of the field for I think the first time today. Haven't seen her up here as Heather Wellington Turner makes a move on Lane Sanford. Could the females be teaming up here to make a move by Tim Sanders?
Could be, but don't look now. We also have another Sanford coming in the mix, as there's definitely pack separation now. It's now clear as day, as Turner looks underneath.
Wellington Turner at that, and you were talking about Charles Sanders, not Sanford, in the 78 machine here. Charles Sanford is back there with damage at the back of the field, as Diego Yepes will make it 3 wide with help from Baran-Auskas.
Yeah, that's I meant to say Sanders. A lot of Sanfords and Sanders, so don't be surprised if it's the only mistake, but we'll try to correct that here. At least I will. So everybody still playing it cool. 2 laps away before a possible caution delta, but if they get past that delta, will we see something more of a longer run? Cole Deaver, he's on the pace. We know he has no damage. I wonder what kind of lapper he'll be.
Trey Smith, Grace Takayama now moving up here on the inside line.
Their P's and Q's right now. It's Beverly Cleed still looking for that lead with help from behind. Here comes Freeze. We got Logan York on the inside. The other Turner, Morgan Turner.
Pretty even right now at the front between the 90 and the 510. Heather will actually clear Beverly here for the lead. So right now the top three's all women. Heather, Beverly, and Audra.
Female power at the front as the rest of the pack is going 4 wide. This is that's the lap we talked about, lap 51. What happens here? Let's see.
They are 4 wide in the pack behind them.
So everyone's gonna play it cool though.
So they're closing in on Cole Deaver. Bouchard, Lorraine, and Ibrahimian are still a ways away. They are, I think, about 5 more laps away from being caught by the pack, and then things are going to get really interesting. We have seen drivers catch one slow car at superspeedways in the past, in both the Digital Storm Cup Series, Jerky Pro Truck Series. We've never seen them catch a trio before, all at once.
That'll be interesting, I think, because the way the aerodynamics work with a trio, you have to pick a lane. That's Brett Moma. We talked about him trying to get his lap back. He's resurfaced.
And could catching the slow trio. I mean, this is the danger thing right here, is when these guys start to battle, then there's 2 full lanes blocked. These guys are kind of just trying to ride and have a little fun. You see James Ellison, Terry Lee back here by themselves. And then a 4-car pack, Gene Sanford, Charles Sanford, Connor Hurley, and Brandon Yodel. And then the main group itself is 27 cars strong, as they've caught Cole Deaver.
Cole can keep up, though. I don't think he will be the main problem. I think it will be that trio you were talking about. I think Cole... Cole always wants the caution, but it would also hurt Moment, right? I think these guys want to get ahead of this pack, catch the trio, and then hope for that prey, that yellow will come out, and then play it from there. But for right now, it's still just wait and see until they catch up to that trio. Everybody's still 3, couple 4 wides in the middle, but it's pretty calm right now.
Lorenz Maga takes the race lead as Deaver is currently still leading this pack. So that just shows that Deaver's got a pretty strong car himself. He just has to get this thing back all the way around with a yellow. But right now, Deaver's leading this group. So they caught him, and they have not passed him.
The only other option Deaver has is let this cycle play out. You're on a different pit cycle, and then try to hope the pit cycle happens, and then you get a yellow within the pit cycle delta from when he pitted on that last caution. But again, that's still a long way away, and I don't see that happening considering we still have that trio to catch, and these guys are just riding right now. As we have now reached the third quarter of this Pensacola race here, Crown Royal 300, lap 54, Lorenz Maggi, your leader.
Deanna Jones going to challenge for the lead with help from William Brock. Patrick Franklin showing back up there on the inside line as well. You got Keith Rich in the 25. As the pack is pretty well coordinated right now, mostly three-wide action here at the front. As Vince mentioned, we are on now lap 55 of the race. 46 to go there at the start-finish line. And you still got to wonder if this thing goes green, will they be able to make it on one more pit stop?
And if someone dare try the overcut strategy, right? Do you go lap 70, maybe 71, as those guys are getting closer with the draft? There's somebody in the back we haven't talked about all day. Let's say 20th on back, right? Do you take the gamble? Maybe somebody like Yepez, who we really haven't seen much all day of. I mean, he's been there a couple times, or someone like a Patrick Smith, a D. Young, who were in that involved in that wreck that haven't been to the front in a minute. Do you take the gamble, go overcut? Or does fresh tires actually mean something for a longer run? We'll find out soon.
Well, I think fresh tires will only really mean something if you're on the outside line. But taking the least amount of fuel necessary is what I would like to say, because if you can stretch this thing out to lap 68, 69, you can probably make it all the way to the end and then not have to pit for that splash of fuel at 2 laps to go.
Brock's got to take this lead for this race, but man, Cole Deaver, he's praying for that yell. That man's been holding off this pack for what, 4 laps now? He's definitely got a horse underneath that charger, as I like to say. Even though I don't think he's driving a Dodge, he's got something.
And Deaver has not been passed or had a move put on him since he was caught. So I don't know if this is just like the 26 is really strong, or there's just a little respect going on, and these guys are all kind of just waiting to see if they'll get a caution or not. But I think Deanna Jones is going to get a run here. As, oh, here we go. Ibrahimian, Lorraine, and Bouchard are all about to be caught by the pack. They will be single file. As Deaver slowed up. He could have just blown right by him, but he slowed up. Ibrahimian will be on the bottom, and Lorraine's going to actually pull up on Deaver. And look at Chris Wilson to the inside. He's going to put Deaver in the middle. No, he won't. But we've got 2 lanes getting blocked.
Chris Wilson, man, I talked about him in the pre-race. We talked about how that guy, when it comes to single car runs, he knows what he's doing. And there's Dylan Young. We just talked about him making this bold strategy play. That's out the window now. He's going to probably play the usual strategy game. And it's a mess back there.
We're going to go 3 wide for the lead here as Bouchard gets shuffled all the way to the top. Harry Lorraine is all the way on the top as well. But where did Ibrahimian get shuffled in this? He is on the top too. But he is bouncing between lanes, and this is hurting a ton of drivers who were hoping to be in contention still.
Notably Lane Sanford and Logan York, last year's winner.
Ibrahimian will hold up Patrick Franklin the most, as Lorraine and Bouchard are on the inside line, and that's going to hurt everybody from Jesse Turner on back. I don't think these guys will be able to hold on, as Wilson, who was just at the front of the pack, is now all the way at the back of the pack, and Tim Sanders has made it back to the race lead.
I think Wilson, he just does not have the setup, right? We talked about how his nighttime setup was on par, but I guess not today, as the daytime conditions with a slight more heat, that kind of hurts his runs. His set Vincent David again. It's Cole Deaver's back there, still trying to get his lap back. These are strong 3 cars right here. Watch this pack: Sanders, Baranaskas, and David. They've all been at the top 15 throughout the race, as we get closer to that magical pit stop delta.
And I know it's just a draft lap, but Vincent David just ran his fastest lap of the race, which is a 46.753. But that time is only 35th on the board. So that just kind of shows you how much David has kind of been at the front. He has not been at the back to get those huge draft runs to set such a fast lap time. But Audra to the race lead. Fastest lap is still a 46.302 set by Keith Rich. As you know, we'll see if the lap traffic causes these guys to string out enough for someone to set an even faster lap. But fastest lap we saw in Q was Baranowskis with a 5-something. So if anybody can go faster than a 302, that would be insane.
I'm telling you, Zach, Cole Deaver, he's going to be kicking himself after this race if he loses this off a tire, because he's definitely had the strongest car, even though he's not a real on the lead lap car. So we'll see. But he needs that yellow quick and to pass these guys in front.
Next lap car is going to be Hunter Braxton, as we're hearing about 2 to 3 laps ago. Actually, make it about 5 laps ago. Hunter Braxton's car had a fuel issue where they couldn't get fuel to take in the engine. They have fixed that problem. He is back up to speed. But Braxton is about to be put 2 laps down. So a tough break for the Red Bull 81. He was showing speed earlier in the race.
Yeah, I think that's the epitome of endurance racing per se, right? You've got to make sure it's man versus equipment. And if one of those things is not on top of the game, you can definitely go a lap down, or in this case, lose your chance at the 300. But right now, it's Yepes. The leader is Fever, once again, trying to get a caution and praying, because he's definitely got the fastest car here.
They're going to go 4 wide for the lead. Behind him is Yepes, Baranowskis, Morgan Turner, and Chris Wilson. As Dylan Young back towards the front again.
Dylan Young, man, he was involved in that accident earlier and brought, I believe it was the second yellow, and now
I just think that car just spun around a little bit and didn't really get any damage. So he is up to speed. He's running in second place. Could Dylan Young get the W today?
Pensacola, we saw him in that wreck earlier. Just a little damage, we thought, but it's like he's up to speed as well.
He kind of merely just bounced off some guys. He didn't really slam into anything. Same for Patrick Smith, who we see in that 4 car there on the inside line, that number 4 Sprint Honda in front of Keith Rich, who's in the 25 Home Depot Chevrolet. Deanna Jones will move up to 3rd. Deaver still leading this pack. We're closing up on that pit stop window, Vince. It's only about 3-4 laps away.
This is not a race of really teammates per se, but does manufacturer alliances matter? Will we see anybody coming with their manufacturer teammates? That inside line will wave their hand out the window and call it early? We'll find out, but I don't know. I think it's just too big of a race to say, hey, I'm going to work with the teammate per se on the same manufacturer. We have Braxton, there's Ellison. I don't think we'll get these guys, believe it or not, before the pit stops come. I think we're safe.
Deanna Jones leading once again. Jones was actually the last car behind Deaver before they caught the lap traffic. Now Deanna Jones behind Deaver once again, as Winnie Calhoun will make a move, and Heather Wellington Turner will make it 3 wide.
Yeah, it's actually even Moma, right? The guy who still also trying to get his lap back. The lap cars, per se, are still trying to fight with these guys. It makes the order interesting. Realistically, Barron out. There he goes, Braxton. Let's see what he causes here.
Oh, and there it is. The caution's out.
Oh, that's big.
And there it is. Somebody spun in turn 1, and that just put Cole Deaver back on the lead lap, and that prevented Braxton from going 2 laps down.
Tough break though for Moma. He was so close to getting that pack, and he can't have to wait. That's tough while the laps wind down.
That saved a couple of drivers, such as Jesse Turner, who was about to lose the draft. Actually, several drivers, Patrick Franklin, Charles Sanders, and Jesse Turner had all lost the main group. Daniel Bouchard is gone. He was in front of Charles Sanford a minute ago. Oh, and Bouchard was the reason for the caution. He's the lone driver on pit road. Not seeing anybody else with any new damage, so it looks like it was potentially a one-car incident.
I was like, this is the problem, right? We're right on the edge of that fuel window. What do? Do you go with 4 tires and fuel? Does someone risk it, just fuel only? Do we see a 2-tire stop or 35 laps of a run on a tank of fuel too much? We're in unknown territory, right? I don't know. Or will the cautions just keep falling and the fuel strategy won't matter? But I think everyone should come down here. The smart play. 4 tires, fuel, hope for some yellows in that stint. Because now we're going to enter the third. We're going to end the third quarter, and once we get to lap 75, it's money time.
Well, Brett Moma staying out caused third place on back to slow up, so that might keep the 90 and the 310 in the top 2, depending on how their pit stops go. We've got a lot of cars a lap down now. So if anybody can make it, I think at least the lap down cars will. Unless, of course, nobody can make it, then the lap down cars will have to pit as well. As Brett Moma is now joined by Harry Lorraine, Delon Ibrahimian, and Hunter Braxton. But let's take a look at what brought out that caution. Looking at what brought out the 4th caution of the day, and oh, that is just bad timing, man. Bouchard was going to end of the corner. Charles Sanford and others coming up with a run. Ooh, Delon Ibrahimian came really close. Bouchard gets turned and then gets stuck on the apron. And that is our very small cause for the 4th caution of the day. And we'll take you guys to the race restart. Getting ready to go back. Green flag racing here from Pensacola. We'll have 31 laps to go. Fuel is going to be tight, I think, for everybody. As nobody retired from that. Bouchard is still on the track with more damage now. He hit the wall with the left side pretty hard. So we'll see how lap traffic plays a factor here now with them restarting on the inside line. It's the first time all day we've seen lap traffic on the inside line for a restart. Vince, how will this affect us here coming to the green flag?
You know what? I don't really know about Braxton, but the other 3, they're slow. We know Moma's quick. That's not the issue. If I'm somebody around Dylan Young, right, you have the toughest decision of your life. Do you go on the inside too early and you get stacked up? Or do you stay on the outside? Where's the cutoff? We'll find out in this restart. As HW Turner will lead us back to the green flag as we enter lap 70.
Braxton, we know, is up to speed, as is Moma. The rest are all a little bit damaged as, oh, this is where things are going to get sketchy. Harry Lorraine's the first one up at the front of him. See Tim Sanders drive on by. And Lorraine will get put in the middle. Oh, Deanna Jones is actually going to follow him. I'm not sure about that decision. See everybody just kind of scattering, trying to find the line. I'm sure their spotters are telling them where the damaged cars are at. Right now, Bouchard's leading the bottom and Lorraine's leading the middle. Bouchard will get shuffled all the way to the top.
Yeah, now it's all about a game of chicken, as I like to say. What's the lane? You can see it looks like Lorraine will be in the middle, as that will be Takayama on the inside with the crowd, and there's Vince up top.
Look at that. Vince Freeze from the top straight to the bottom. Keith Martin still being held up, as is Diego Yepes. Lorenz Maga really suffering from the 14 of Harry Lorraine. Logan York is back here as well. Oscars is all the way back here. Vincent David, we've seen them up front most of the race. They could be getting hurt tremendously from this. But you know, this is the big thing here, right? This is what has split this pack up into pieces. As at the front, it's Tim Sanders and Winnie Calhoun leading this race. And Vince, if we go green, I've got a very interesting statistic I'd like to bring up.
It wouldn't be a 300 without statistics. Let me know what we got.
In the past 3 races, we have had the following amount of cars fighting for the win at the finish. In the first race, we had 6 cars going at it on the last lap. 2019, 7 cars, and last year we had 11 cars.
I would say as of right now, we have a solid 20 to 23 cars. I don't know. Yeah.
Keep in mind, in those past 3 races, there were a lot of crashes, or big crashes, compared to this year's race, where we've had a lot of small incidents, and most of the field has remained unharmed. You know, we usually have at least one big crash with 10 cars involved. Not this year. I think the biggest one we saw was the Donovan Cage James Ellison deal that you also had Charles Sanford, Seth Cole, Jonathan Wong, and Terry Lee involved in, and that took 3 cars out of the race. But we have, if you even count the lap car of Hunter Braxton, we've got about 30 cars that are completely up to speed. And don't forget Brett Moma. He's up to pace too.
And this is, first off, it's an interesting comp at the front. Chris Wilson, Vince Freeze, that's interesting in itself. But we also have people throughout the back of the pack where we haven't seen it, having to show their ace of spades, as I like to say. Well, is it time to show the ace of spades? We've only got 1 lap to go before we enter that 4th quarter of this race, where it's money time. As it's getting intense. I don't know. I don't think you think we're done with the yellows? Because I don't think so. I think it's just way too rowdy. And oh, we forgot about Cole Deaver.
Cole Deaver got back on the lead lap with that caution. And look at him up here now. He was leading the pack before, but that was with danger of going a lap down. Can he lead the pack for real this time? He's leaving a little space there for Charles Sanders, but he's going to drop back down to the bottom as Vince Freeze has about a 2-car length lead here at Pensacola. Man, does this 20 car suddenly have something?
I guess Vince was hiding that ace of spades from the field, maybe. Maybe it was 4th quarter, right? The crew chief said, hey, buddy, it's money time, 10-4, and we'll see what happens. But I don't know. Cole Deaver, that man has a one-man wrecking crew. He seems to be pulling everybody to the front. This lead won't last long.
And it looks like for the first time today, we're going to go single file at the front. Charles Sanders in 3rd. Lorenz Maga got held up big time. He's all the way back up to 4th already. Beverly Creed in 5th. Is there you see the lap cars of Hunter Braxton and Brett Moma playing a bit of a factor as Maga's going to go to the inside of Charles Sanders.
Believe it or not, in a weird way, there is a little pack separation from the top 5 to the 6 because of Moma and Braxton. 6 Sanders is a little bit far back, but he'll come up. I just think the way the packs work, and Maga making a statement, though, with Sanders' help on Deaver, who's been the strongest car, it seems like, at the front. Maybe that was just because they were giving him respect. Maybe he gets the respect out the window. As Braxton, man, if he was on the lead lap, he'd be a factor too, but too many laps behind, I think, at this rate, barring a yellow.
Braxton is 1 lap down. He would need a yellow flag to get back on the lead lap like Cole Deaver did. And he would need it sooner rather than later. We've got 21 cars in this main pack, and then if you count Braxton and Moma, it's 23. So 23 in this main pack, 21 of them on the lead lap looking for this win, Vince.
It's going to be interesting. Is speaking of Vince, that guy's out in front right now, but here comes Maga with help from Braxton and Sanders. Now, Braxton's not for position. Everybody else is coming back. It seems like we're starting to file out here. We haven't seen the 4-wide action. Maybe 21 cars is the magic number not to get that 4-wide action. We know lap cars will be a factor, that's for sure.
Oh, man, and these 3, Vince, they are all split up this time. Bouchard, Lorraine, and Ibrahimian, they're all scattered. And it looks like Bouchard, they actually might have fixed some more damage going a couple more laps down. They're a lot more up the pace than the 38 and the 14 are now.
He's also catching a draft, though, from that pack ahead. I think that's also big.
A little bit of draft from Terry Lee and James Ellison. You see Brandon Yodel rather, by himself as well. Charles Sanford is a bit up to speed. He's getting a wake from Gene Sanford, Connor Hurley. As there's a bit of a second pack back here, Vince, behind Heather Wellington Turner. Keith Martin, Diego Yepes, Baran Askus, Logan York, Vincent David, Jesse Turner. They're all up to speed. Hurley and Gene Sanford have damage, but they are keeping up behind these drivers. I said it's a smaller pack, but Keith Martin, there at the start-finish line, is 2.5 seconds behind the 90 of Heather Wellington Turner, so out of that draft range. So these guys need to keep it orderly if they want to keep up with the pack. And then once these guys catch a lap car or two, they might spread the pack out enough to where those guys can catch back up.
Yeah, I think that lap car, whoever we encounter first, could be a key factor. Where do you want to be? As Malga leads, as Vince Friese is back in the pack now, but Chris Wilson, the man who seems to have the fastest bullet when he's alone, what can he do? But William Brock also been at the front. Dylan Young in that accident. Lots of great storylines here, man. I'm telling you, we have a bunch of interesting storylines if someone wins this race. Someone had to overcome adversity regardless, whether it be internally with the team or on track. We'll find out who gets it done. See Teppensaw there. A lot of great storylines. But for right now, it's Chris Wilson with help from Brock on the inside line with Teppensaw coming.
I just wanted to mention that Stephen Colon was up at the front for, I think, the first time this entire race. He's just kind of been minding his business in the middle of the field. As he gets put to the outside by Teppensaw, he'll be up top 3 wide there with William Brock, as Charles Sanders is back at the front again, as they're going to go 4 wide for third place. Maga, though, not wasting any time trying to go back to the race lead. Was Maga holding back the power of this Ford Fusion sponsored by Pizza Hut?
Like Maga's trying to put a little pepperoni on this field here, as we also have some search engines behind, as well as Deanna Jones has always been at the front as well.
20 laps to go there at the start-finish line. Will be coming to 19 to go this time by Vince. Is fuel a thought for any of these guys, or are they just going to go out here and try and get it as they approach Delon Ibrahimium for the second time today?
Right now, we just got to hold our breath here. What is Ibrahim? Does he stay? Does he keep it up there?
He's going to hold up the middle as Deanna Jones goes to the lead on the inside line.
Now, if I'm that second pack with Turner, York, and that crew back there, you're hoping for this, right? You're hoping for chaos in the middle line, because that will be enough of a suck-up to where Vince Friese looks for the lead here with help from Sanford, who's been quiet, and now he's back.
Yeah, you can see the second pack just in range. They're side by side. I mean, if they don't get help from Ibrahimium here, Harry Lorraine is just up the road. And then Bouchard is a little further ahead. 18 laps to go, though, Vince. That is 54 more miles around this track.
What do you do here with this lapper? Vince Friese to the outside, and he's gone.
Do you want to be gone, though, is the question, as Lorraine will now move up and hold up Maga as well. And they're going to go 3 wide to pass the 14. So the pack gets held up, but now Lorraine is all the way up top 4 wide. As Takayama and others. And that second pack, they got connected because of Ibrahimium. And now Lorraine held up the main pack again, and that's going to allow Yepes to close up his... Oh, man! Logan York and Lorraine almost make contact. That's going to hurt the O2's run. You see Baran Oscars move to his outside. It's Jesse Turner and Keith Martin are going to have to check up here, too.
It's almost a deer in the headlight for the John Deere Camry over there for Logan York. But right now, we've got a I would say now 27, 28, 29 car pack, I think, that is about to form here as everybody's constantly together is Teppensaw to the bottom.
Heat 1 winner Joshua Teppensaw. Could he win the Crown Royal 300? Coming to 16 laps to go this time by.
We know Teppensaw, he can get it done in these late game situations, right? Look for that late race situation. The cars who, that's the one disadvantage from qualifying the top 10. You would think, well, I have no race trip, right? What's the experience like versus the people who have been here, done that, LCQ, heat? We'll see. We'll see if that battle commences as we have about 28 car pack. Yep.
Winnie Calhoun made it in on the qualifying day. Dylan Young, your Heat 2 winner, up at the front of the field. Heat 3 winner Cole Deaver also at the front. They've all shown speed today, Vince, the Heat winners.
Yeah, the Heat winners, I don't think it's the problem. I think it really is just the placement now at this point. We know we have, was Bouchard close? I know he's the only lap car we've talked about other than the first two. He might be, yeah, he lost it.
He's right there. He's just up ahead. They are 4 wide right now, though. This could get crazy. Could we see a late race caution, Vince?
Oh, it's within the realm of possibility, right? I think anything's possible. And what we've seen all weekend, usually with 10 to go, gloves are off. What's a teammate? What's a manufacturer? It's all about yourself. That's what racing's built on. As you can see, here's Bouchard. What happens?
Trey Smith goes to put a move on Willie Calhoun, but Bouchard is there in his way, and Calhoun will fly by, and they'll put Bouchard in the middle. Vincent David has made it back up to the front of the field.
And Vincent David, we've seen him at the front, and that's going to hurt Yepes, man. He is going to skyrocket to the back just like that.
This is going to hurt a ton of drivers. Lorenz Maga will make it to the middle. That's going to help save him a little bit.
Oh, look now, Baranowskis is now caught up and has been connected with the fast inside line. Watch out.
Yep, as Teppensaw and Takayama will get held up the most out of everybody. Jesse Turner's just kind of been riding at the back of the field. I wonder if he anticipates another crash, as Dylan Young will take the lead away from Winnie Calhoun.
Vincent David, we've seen him up there. There's Vince for the Vincent Vince show. Will that be a fact? Chris Wilson, Logan York. There we go. Baranowskis, Frank, we got the strong inside line. This is a Titans battle right here. The fastest cars have all been here. Will we see any more lappers? We'll see.
Ellison, Yodel, and Terry Lee are next up. There's Ibrahimium. He's going into turn 1 right now. The leaders are going into turn 3. I'm not sure if they'll get there as they're 4 wide for the lead. Vince Freeze on the inside line.
It's the Gold Brigade, Freeze, Baranowskis
5 wide
front.
in the middle of the pack. They'll settle it down.
Getting hot here in Pensacola. The Florida heat is starting to get turned up to 150, seems like.
Ooh, MoMA and Sanford, Lane Sanford leaning there. They keep it together. As Keith Martin looked like he was going to be held up. He is back up here, second in line on the inside. So is Lorenz Maga. And some of our strongest drivers are up near the front. Vince Freeze leading it, showing speed late. Same with the 27 of Maga behind him in second.
This is not for position, but he's up there. He could play a big factor if who wins this race on that last lap, helping somebody. But Maga Freeze, we talked about those guys 10 laps ago. They seem to be the two strongest out front. It's just, can they get back to the pack now? And that will change too as the laps wind down. Here comes Braxton, looking to abandon Maga. He'll file back in line with that outside run.
Deanna Jones is the next lead lap car on the bottom, followed by Morgan Turner and Cole Deaver, but Braxton is there in the middle between Maga and Jones. Next time by at the start-finish line, it'll be 10 laps to go, 30 more miles in the 4th annual NRSL Crown Royal 300. Could we be in store for a photo finish? The last 2 races, we've had the winner be single file in front of the pack. Could that happen again for the 3rd year in a row? Maga was looking to make a move, but Keith Martin makes it first. Patrick Franklin back at the front of the field there in 4th place.
Old Deaver, too. The man's back. We've got a strong field. I think whoever wins this race, I would say, earned it. Most of these people have been at the front, I would say, at one time or another. And we still have to know about fuel window, but let's hope that there's Yepez, right? We talked about Yepez and Takayama getting held up. Look at that.
Patrick
Right now,
Franklin.
it's Patrick Franklin.
Franklin to the inside line. Oh, Ibrahimium's going to be a factor. He is going into turn 1 now as they come off of turn 4. He will definitely play a role in this as they hit 9 to go.
Vince Freeze right now is trying to get those hops with his Budweiser car right there, but I don't know. This whole field is right behind him. What does he do, right? What's in the mindset of his helmet? Does he do something here? Does he stay in line with Franklin? Does he try to go to the outside when he approached that lap car of Ibrahimium? That'll be all to play for a bit, but nobody seems to have that massive run, Zach. It seems like everyone's 2, maybe 3 wide in the back. That's it. No 4 wide. It seems to be calming down here.
Lorenz Maga was up to 2nd place. Now he is falling back on the top side, 3 wide. Will he have time to get back to the front as the top 5 are single file? Deanna Jones all the way back to the inside line as Deaver and Takayama will make a move. How about Cole Deaver, though, Vince? Had the flat tire, fell a lap down, got back on the lead lap. Here he is going for this win.
I'm telling you, man, that car has been the most resilient car of the day. That's definitely an award there at the end of this race, regardless of where he finishes. From back to top, to back to top again, back to the front, to the lead. As Takayama here, though, looks underneath him.
Takayama will move up to 2nd place, trying to close the gap on Vince Freeze as they catch Delon Ibrahimium. 7 to go. Keith Martin 3rd on the inside line. William Brock up front as Maga has made it back to the inside line. That 27 car has appeared fast. Fastest lap on the day, though, goes to Keith Rich with a 46.212.
Rich has definitely been one of those guys. I've seen him working in the back. He's on the outside line now, just getting those fast lap awards. But Keith Martin, William Brock, Cole Deaver, Deanna Jones on the inside with Freeze. That's a combo right there. Maga was well.
Oh, they caught Ibrahimium, and Vince Freeze had to check up. He goes to the outside, and that's going to open the door for Keith Martin. And now it's going to open the door for William Brock. Everybody had to slow up for that, and that really hurt Vince Freeze.
Tough break there, but still looks like he got through. I think it's not over yet for anybody who can get through quick enough. And we may still not be done yet with lappers.
Harry Lorraine looks like will be in the picture. Not sure about anybody else. As William Brock leads. We'll be coming to 5 laps to go. Still approach the 14 of Lorraine. And they're going to split them right in the middle. And Deaver's the first one who's got to check up, followed by Yepes and Lane Sanford.
Akiyama on the inside. Sanford, that's going to cost him.
Vince Freeze has a shot to get back on the inside here. Can he get down? And he's going to hold on the middle as now Lorenz Maga and Tim Sanders, 2 of the strongest cars all day, are at the front of the field.
Could be a dangerous combo. There's Moma. He's not even in this thing. He's just helping somebody. There's Baranowskis. We know Baranowskis has got speed.
Crunch time. 4 laps to go at the start-finish line. Will they catch the pack of slow cars ahead of them?
It's a $1 million question right now. If they do, all bets are off.
Dylan Young's going to make it 3 wide for second place. Maga is in control, though, right now. 2-car length lead over the pack. You don't want to get it too big. Braxton's going to make it 4 wide. Only Wilson and Dylan Young are fighting for second, though, in that 4 wide. As Moma was all the way up top, he'll file down. Here comes Cole Deaver back towards the front. Vincent David with a last race charge here. 3 to go at the start-finish line.
Ain't over yet. We still have those lappers. Will they come into play? We don't know yet. It's going to be a toss-up. Could be the last lap like we saw in LCQ too.
Braxton's the lap car in between Maga and Vincent David. As there's a 5-car pack up here. These guys are only a second off pace, though. I'm not sure if they'll catch. Bouchard, though, might be a factor here. As the top 4 are single file. David will make a peek on Hunter Braxton. He wants the lap car out of the way and out of the fight.
Vincent David do, right? You have to get a perfect run at a perfect time. Pensacola, he's been hanging back there. 2 to go. What do you do?
Maga's car has been strong all of this last run, and he is just holding off these guys. And I think he's starting to get a little sniff of draft. Braxton just can't find the run on him. Vincent David couldn't even get by him. William Brock third on the inside line as they're all strung out there at the back of the pack. Will be coming to the white flag. David makes another move again on the inside of Braxton. This time he'll make it work. White flag is out. Several drivers coming to pit road short on gas. Can these guys even make it on gas?
What do you do if you're Lorenz Maga? What do you do? Do you block? Do you hold your line? Vincent David, what do you do? Do you have Sanders run? Here comes Sanders. Here comes Yepez on this Baranowskis at the back.
Tim Sanders with a 4 wide move to get it up to third place. It's a Ford Fusion 1, 2, 3.
Here comes Yepez in the Pontiac. Can he do a Young? Or is Lorenz Maga going to hold him up? It's going to be a last lap photo finish. Get the cameras out maybe? Or is Sanders just going to prevent that?
Tim Sanders will make a move for second place on Vincent David. Can he get a run on the 27 of Lorenz Maga? Or is it all said and done? Checkered flag waves. More cars pit. Lorenz Maga wins the 4th annual NRSL Crown Royal 300. And I think he might have been getting a sniff of draft from Daniel Bouchard there at the end.
Played that well in that last run. This race used to be called the Pizza Hut. And he put the pepperoni on the field today.
The original title sponsor wins this race 4 years later. Or technically make it 4.5. First event was run in July. Last 3 events have been run in January. But man, what a way to start 2021 on this channel. We still got Hankook Tire V8 Supercar races left to go here. And then we'll be getting into the Digital Storm Cup Series and Jerky Pro Truck Series. But Lorenz Maga, your winner of the 4th annual NRSL Crown Royal 300. Tim Sanders will come home second. Diego Yepez third, Vincent David 4th, Dylan Young 5th, Patrick Franklin 6th, Charles Sanders 7th, Stephen Colon 8th, Audra Baranowskis 9th, and Keith Martin will round out the top 10. Winnie Calhoun, Grace Takayama, Chris Wilson, Morgan Turner, Beverly Creed, William Brock, Trey Smith, Lane Sanford, Joshua Teppensaw, and Deanna Jones, your top 20. Vince Frias looked like he had a really fast car. He'll get 21st. Cole Deaver, Keith Rich, last year's winner Logan York, Heather Wellington Turner, and Jesse Turner, the last of those that were in the main pack. You see Patrick Smith, Gene Sanford, Connor Hurley, and then Brett Moma a lap down in 30th. Hunter Braxton, James Ellison, Brandon Yodel, Charles Sanford, Terry Lee, Harry Lorraine, Delon Ibrahimian, and Daniel Bouchard all finished this race. Most cars we've had finish this event ever. And DNFing from this race was Seth Cole, Jonathan Wong, Donovan Cage, and Riley Spurleytube. Vince, your thoughts on the race?
That was probably one of those unexpected races in a sense, but we didn't really get a big one. We really didn't get much strategy. The cautions fell almost equidistant, and we had a green flag run to end the race, which I was shocked. But it seemed like there was a couple good cars to the front, and Lorenz Maga, Sanford at the beginning. We had different cars at different races in a sense in each quarter. And who knows, right? What would have happened if those lap cars would have never interfered with the front battle at the front with the first time with Maga, Freeze, and others. But anniversary, right? What if Cole Deaver? What if he could have done if he would have came back from a lap down to win this thing? It would have been an interesting storyline, but well deserved for the original sponsor. I'm sure they probably want to knock on the administrator's door next year and say, "Hey, can we get that sponsor back?" But there's no pressure since no one was sponsored by Crown Royal. Overall, great weekend. Looking forward to the next one next year.
And overall, over half the field ran a lap faster than Baranowski's Q time, with Keith Rich setting the fastest at a 46.212. And I mean, those are just draft laps, but you got to give a hand to him. Connor Hurley never really got around to setting a good lap in the draft. His fastest was a 46.949. And your race winner, Lorenz Maga, where was he at on the timesheet? 21st with a 46.483. I mean, that just goes to show how much he was up at the front. Never really in the draft for too long. That'll do it for me and Vince Freeze here. I hope you enjoyed the longest race of the year by far on this channel. The Digital Storm Cup Series and Jerky Pro Truck Series races are set to be a little shorter with more strategy involved this year. So hopefully a lot of the videos are a little more condensed for you guys. But this, the longest video and race of the year. Lorenz Maga, the 4th annual NRSL Crown Royal 300 winner. Me and Vince Freeze will see you guys for the remainder of the V8 Supercar races. And then we'll get into the preview shows for Jerky Pro and Digital Storm. And then we'll get the 2021 season underway. Until then, me and Vince, us signing off. See you later.
See you, baby.